Hi there, I'm Ethan Forhetz. Lisa's off tonight. We're live at the scene of what appears to be a fireworks plant explosion out near Pleasant Hope. Francis Watson is live at the scene tonight. And Francis, I know firefighters are still working the scene. What can you tell us at this point?
Well, right now we are waiting from official word from either the Polk County Sheriff's Office or a fire captain with one of the many fire departments that are here. But this is what I can tell you. This is A&M Pyrotechnics. If we can just pan out here, you can see what is left of the building. Apparently, a few hours ago, there was something that led to an explosion. Again, we're working to get the information confirmed as to how it started. Now, the Highway Patrol tells me that one person, they told a neighbor, rather, that one person was killed. Again, we have not confirmed that. We did see somebody life flighted out of here just a few moments ago. As we were coming in just north of Springfield, you could see the fire, the plume of smoke, a good probably 10 miles away. That's how impressive the black smoke was. As we got closer, you could really see the devastation of what had happened. A building, if it was here, completely gone. In fact, when we pulled up, you could still hear some of the fireworks popping, and it was incredible to hear some of the remnants of what gunpowder was left. But again, there are some spots that right now firefighters are trying to put out with flames. They're using a ladder truck coming from above, some on the ground. I'm not exactly sure what protocol is with something like this, so dangerously explosive, whether or not firefighters can actually get close enough and be safe without something else happening. So we don't know at this point quite a few things. We don't know how many people were inside. We don't know how many people could have been injured. We do know from a neighbor that Highway Patrol told them one person has been killed. But again, we're working to confirm that. Neighbors living nearby tell us the explosion was so fierce. The windows shook, their house shook. It felt like an earthquake. So for them, I'm probably about a good 300 feet away from the nearest house to what is left of this building. Again, A&M Polytechnics, rather, here in Polk County. Nothing left. We are waiting for official word as to how something like this may have happened. But to give you an idea of the type of fireworks that were stored here and distributed from this location, these are commercial grade fireworks. We're talking fireworks that are used at Hammons Field, places like Silver Dollar City. Huge, big canisters, if you've ever seen them live at fireworks shows. So we're not talking about fireworks that are sold on the stands on the side of the road. These are commercial grade. Well, okay, let me go back to your first question. The neighbors nearby say that it was just a huge explosion. If you can imagine like dynamite being blasted, if you're standing around some kind of quarry or something, just a fierce explosion, then a series of smaller explosions like pop, 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 as the other fireworks were being ignited and were going off. So an initial boom followed by a series of smaller booms and tons of flames, tons of smoke. Now, I can see from my vantage point, there are still some flames a little bit lower than where the horizon is. It's kind of hard to see because it almost looks as though whatever building was there was like a little sunken part. So I would imagine that the force of the explosion maybe have forced the ground to give way a little bit. But there are still pockets of flames there. And if you can see, they're using the ladders on the fire trucks to get it from the top side. Again, not sure what the protocol is, if firefighters could even get closer on the ground without being hurt. So neighbors were just shocked, surprised, and quite honestly scared, because they do know that there are people that are in and out. Of course, tomorrow being the 4th of July, prime time for these materials to be hauled back and forth throughout this distribution center. So something that you see in a movie is what I was told, something that you just can't possibly imagine happening, but it actually does. In fact, the house right behind me, maybe 300 to 500 feet away, perfect vantage point, unfortunately, for them. So like I said, we are working to get the particulars, how this started, who may have been inside, just all of the other information. But we can tell you that some type of explosion did, in fact, happened here, and that's been confirmed by the various entities, Highway Patrol. There was also another sheriff's deputy and firefighters. So said as they were getting closer, they started hearing and feeling the explosion. So the fire went to fireworks, and neighbors nearby, as you heard the man say at the top of the newscast, that it's more than thunder. In fact, other people describe it as something of a blast, shaking their windows, rattling their homes, just something that they felt was out of a movie. So going back to here, the scene, this is, like you said, AM Pyrotechnics. There was only one person inside this building at the time of that explosion, if you can believe that. There were a number of other employees who had left just minutes before the entire building went up in flames. Firefighters are still putting out some of the hot spots. You're looking at what it looked like earlier during the day. Same thing, not much has changed. A good 7 fire companies are out right now. They have been continuously pouring water on various hot spots. A little while ago, fire captains from Fairgrove and Pleasant Hope both say that it is now safer for the firefighters to be able to attack this from the ground level, again, having to keep a distance because of the explosive material. We're not talking about fireworks that are sold on the sides of the road in those stands or in the tents. We're talking about fireworks that are commercial grade. Those you see at either Silver Dollar City or Hammond's Field, something of a huge, impact with tons of gunpowder, tons of materials that are explosive. So again, not something that it would be easily contained once it started popping. I want to reiterate that one person was inside that building who is now at the hospital. Injuries are described as moderate to serious. And let's take a listen to what one of the fire captains said they experienced earlier on their way to this situation.
Neighbor come over and say, "Hey, I hear more than what sounds like an explosion, sounded like fireworks." And then he said, "Look at that big plume of black smoke." And I was like, okay, we're going towards where that black smoke is. And then I notified our dispatch that, hey, we need all the help we can get.
Oh, Ethan, it looks like the electric company just got out here, Southwest Electric. I'm assuming they're going to obviously take a look a little bit closer now that it is safer for other types of workers to go in and find out if there's any live wires left or any other kind of dangers. Again, we were talking earlier, and I think you asked me how the fire marshals are exactly going to be able to even try to piece this together. Well, it's not going to be easy. And essentially, this is an industry that is heavily regulated. We're talking every restriction you can possibly imagine, certainly because of the materials that are being handled here. So the fire marshals are going to be requesting records, looking back at how the owners of AM Pyrotechnics stored the materials, how they processed them, how they transport them. Every single record the law requires them to keep will be combed over, and additionally, whatever is left of the building certainly will be gone through as well. Not to mention the one woman who was actually inside at the time that this happened. So still a lot of moving parts with this story as it's unfolding. But again,